It's unfortunate that this one is in such bad shape, especially since it's owned by the city.
A piece of public art donated to the city of Tampa has been allowed to rust so badly it's falling apart. The statue has an interesting history, but the city says it would now be too costly to repair.
We tracked down the grandson, though, of the original artist, who is now an artist himself, and he says that statue can be repaired and preserved. News Channel 8's Jeff Patterson joining us now live from Bayshore Boulevard in Tampa. Anybody that's driven by, we've seen these pieces of art.
I've been driving by this particular piece of art for a long time. Good evening, Keith and Jen. This piece of public art has an interesting history of being stolen, then recovered, and finally donated to the city of Tampa. But it is now in danger of being discarded by the city because it is rusting and falling apart.
The statue is called Equanimity and was created by artist Bud Olson. At one time, it sat outside of the Tampa Museum of Art, and then it was stolen. A phone tip led Tampa police to recover it 10 years later.
Yeah, I know a little bit about that. Yeah, strange times, you know, so the artwork was stolen.
James Olson Jr. is the grandson of artist Bud Olson, and now he's an artist too.
Most of my inspiration as far as the metal sculpture goes was from my grandfather. So I saw this growing up. I do a lot of equine work. I saw my grandfather's horses growing up.
James Olson has produced art that is across the country, from Busch Gardens to the city of St. Petersburg. He's also created art for private collections. But he had no idea his grandfather's art had been allowed to rust and fall apart until I showed him a photo.
It has rusted.
Absolutely, yeah.
Collapsed on itself.
I contacted the city of Tampa and was told a conservator recently evaluated the statue and determined it would be cost prohibitive to repair. James Olson says it would have been easy to prevent it from getting this bad.
Once a year, a little bit of maintenance. It's just Penetrol is the product that that I put on it, which is an oil-based paint conditioner, and the sculptures will last forever.
The city says they are currently looking at options for the sculpture, including removing it from public display. But Olson says the statue can be saved, and he's the man to do it.
I would be able myself to get it back to its original condition and make sure there was a sufficient structure on the inside of it, so it can last forever. And then, paint and finishes and stuff, just to keep it always looking nice.
Keep in mind, this is not James Olson looking for work. He has plenty of his own projects to keep him busy. He knew nothing about this until I started looking into the history of this piece of public art and discovered that James Olson Jr. is an artist in his own right, following in his grandfather's footsteps. Unfortunately, the future of this piece of public art is far from certain. Keith and Jen?
He's a talented artist himself. It'd be nice to see this repaired if it's possible.
And you can see so many people driving behind you. Lots and lots of people have seen this art. So we look forward to the update. Thanks, Jeff.